The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, one of my favorite albums from Lauryn Hill. Once the member, once member of the Fugees hip hop trio with her, Prize, and Wyclef. Many people said this was the death of her career because this album was basically based on R&B tracks with a handful of real hip hop tracks that she sprinkled in there. But she used her ability of singing and hip hop and fused it together, unlike we ain't never heard of before, which made this a beautiful spiritual album. Lost One was a song that she made diss towards LL Cool J, what a lot of people might not know. But this album, I listened to it. I listened to this album so much, man. Um, Keeping in rotation on a yearly basis, and there's no MC that ever touched the mic that came on the presence in a hip hop scene that was able to blend her voice with her MCing that was both equally untouched. Then we on to one of the greatest producers of all time, Diamond D, man, from the legendary group DITC. Got this album right here, classic hip hop albums, man. Classic hip hop album, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop. Definitely a classic. For all the true, real hip hop fans of hip hop should know about this album, Diamond D. That dude, he got a couple albums that he did, but this is the classic one. With Solid got a one track mind and all the other banging hits that was on his joint. A lot of super banging hits on his joint. A sample that he took from Big Daddy Kane. Any rapper try to diss, I crush the motherfucker. Diamond D, D and Fire. Any rapper try to diss, I crush the motherfucker. You know, this definitely, man. His crew, DITC, shout out to and rest in peace to Big L. You know, the only member of the group that passed away. You know, had OC on, part of the group. Fat Joe was part of the group. Showbiz and AG was part of the group. You know, he was part of the group. And a banging group of MCs and producers that just got together and did this super group DITC and legendary, like I said, legendary album right here. Then you have my dudes, the Spanish Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Cypress Hill. Definitely classic album. You know what I mean? All these albums is classic because of the album covers, man. You know, hardcore outside in front of the fire trash can. I could just kill a man. That was definitely a joint back in the '90s. They became popular with. You know, you had Be Real with that nozzle flow. Always known for his voice and everything. And the albums, the sample on this joint, oh man, DJ Muggs, oh man, phenomenal, 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 phenomenal. We come over here to one of my favorite groups of all time, Public Enemy, man. Bum Rush the Show right here. You know, man, you got all of them going towards the record. You know what I'm saying? And putting their hands together. You got Chuck D, you got Flavor Flav, Professor Griff. You know, they came together for one of the dopest groups ever. Bum Rush the Show, Public Enemy #1. That song always gonna be the joint. Definitely for years and years it was timeless music. Public Enemy, man. Uh, Chuck D, I heard, didn't even want to be an MC back in the day. He just wanted to be a promoter and like going to the parties to dance, believe it or not. And he just wound up rhyming. And he formed a group. He couldn't even do it, he said, without Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav was like the balance in the group, while he was the serious one, talking about the conscious rap. Flavor Flav was the best hype man ever in hip hop. Bum Rush the Show, man. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And then you got these dudes, Dies Effects, that came out in the 90s. Everybody trying to steal their flow. To try to rhyme like them on that fast, trick of the tongue type of rap. The dudes with the dreadlocks. And they got a couple albums. A lot of people just think about this album. It's called Dead Serious. But believe it or not, folks, they had a couple albums, and throughout the years they try to switch their flow a little bit to keep up with the times. But this one right here, man, my hip bone connected to my, you know what I'm saying? My thigh bone's connected to my knee bone connected to my hearty ha. That line is gonna be stamped in our brain as hip hop junkies forever and then forever. Let's go to the dude, man, that has a baby, for y'all who don't know, by the one and only Erykah Badu. The DOC, no one could do it better. I don't know how many times I listened to this album. Phenomenal. Top lyricist from the group NWA. He was the place of Ice Cube, believe it or not. He was an Ice Cube spot. Then he got in a car accident. He messed his voice up. And then he kind of like disappeared from hip hop. I don't know, did he do any other albums? Probably not, because of his voice. He probably couldn't do no more. But this first album, man, was a classic. True lyricist. Definitely, way before his time. Another one way before his time. That underrated MC as well. But DOC, the album, no one could do it better. Definitely worth putting in your collection as a hip hop junkie. Then you had the dude right here, man, Ice-T, man. Almost all his early covers was pictures of females, mostly like his wives and stuff, and females that he messed with. I think this was his first wife, I believe, on his album cover, Power. He's a real pimp in real life, and that's why the way he rhymed was easy to him, because the way pimps talk is like the way rappers talk. They was hilarious, they was funny, they had a sense of humor, they had personalities, and they used to always have unique phrases and everything like that. That's why Ice-T rapping became easy to him. And he became a hardcore MC, always talking about police brutality in LA and stuff like that. And he wound up, coincidence, playing a cop for most of his career recently on the TV shows and stuff like that. He, even a couple movies he played a cop, and New Jack City, undercover cop. So it was a coincidence how he had song Cop Killer that he was popular for and everything like that. He wound up playing a cop. Ain't that something? But Power, his first album, a must have in your collection. Then we had the one and only Tupac. First album, Tupacalypse. A lot of people, they seen the different versions of Tupac. The conscious rapper, his mom was part of the Black Panthers, and she was locked up. When she had him, she was pregnant, locked up in jail as a Black Panther. She came out and had one of the Prince of the world that was before his time, poet, MC and poet, who gave the world some of the most inspirational songs ever. Brenda's Got a Baby, Keep Your Head Up, Dear Mama, and so on. Young Black Male, Trapped, on his album, Tupacalypse Now. Rest in peace to the Prince, Tupac, man, who gave us multiple hits. He was the most influenced rapper of all time. They said was quoted in the source as well. He made the most impact of any MC. Him and DMX. But DMX definitely is the second person. Probably the DMX probably was the next to Flavor Flav, one of the hypest men, and as far as that energy. I would say him and Busta Rhymes. But getting back to Tupac Apocalypse, one of my favorite albums. This one and Strictly for My Niggas. And I would say Me Against the World probably was like my favorite Tupac albums. We're gonna go with another favorite female MC, Have to give props up to Lil Kim, the hardcore album. The album Hardcore, man, many young dudes in the 90s, teenagers in the early 90s, man, middle 90s, I may say. Definitely pleasured themselves to this album. She was on some X-rated stuff on like some Heather Hunter, was a persona, the person she was trying to be like. But what made Little Kim unique is she was like the female version of Biggie. And her rhymes was definitely on point, hardcore. A lot of people thought that Biggie wrote her rhymes even to this day because it sounded so much like his rhymes. And you take away all the hardcore, the pornographic lyrics that she had, you take all that away and leave it underlined with the other lyrics she had, she would have been untouched. She's still untouched for her style and flow, but I think she would have got much more respect from the music industry and the hip hop world. We know how hardcore and thorough she was, but this album, Hardcore, definitely I got those on my wall as one of my favorite female MCs. But the one, man, right here, you know what I mean? Next up there with like MC Light, man, it's the Queen Latifah. Definitely, man, came out with her joint dance to the music. She sampled from Sly and Family Stone. Back in the day, I love the video with people dancing on the old school dances in that joint. You know, the dances that was popular during that time. She had the song Dance For Me. She had the song Unity and a lot of other hits she had. The younger generation now just look at her as an actor. But this is Queen Latifah, man, the one that started all. Hell to the Queen, her first album. And she was a conscious rapper, man. The same sign as me, Pisces and everything. And then she talked about female sexuality, but she talked about female equality, being equal as men, standing up as a woman. She reminded me like the female KRS-One in my opinion. And I love this first album by her, Hell to the Queen Latifah, man. And then we got Remy Ma. She definitely one of the new millennium MCs that I love to hear. This album, there's something about Remy. She was like the female Big Pun, in my opinion. Pun helped her bring her out. And she definitely, right now, she married to Pat Poose. Pat Poose, some coincidence, is one of my favorite MCs. She one of my favorite MCs. And she went to jail for this incident that happened. He held her down and waited for her, man, while she was in prison. And she always had that sex appeal, came off raw, and had them rhymes, man, that a lot of dudes she could go toe-to-toe with. Pun is on this album as well. Definitely one of the new millennium female MCs that I like a whole lot. Remy Ma, one of the baddest female MCs of all time. You know what I mean?